Hello everybody and welcome over to G4G's wrap-up of PvP Season 30, otherwise known as the Beetle season. So this season took place during the Civil War II Spec Ops, which of course was giving us Blue Marvel and Jthor. Can't say I saw too many of them in PvP. From the Hellcarrier ran into a Jthor on defense during the last few minutes of PvP, and I ran into a Blue Marvel the night before PvP ended. He was okay. I would say that his AI seemed to understand when and where to heal, kind of similar to, say, Cloak and Dagger and Iron Fist. But other than that, I didn't really think it was that much to write home about. I kind of figured his heal was going to get baited out, and it certainly did. So let's go ahead and jump into taking a look at the rewards. Last time I saw my team was about 5 minutes to go, and it was 2235, which would be the highest finish that I've ever had over here. Alright, so there is our 100k silver, there's our 10 gold. There is the Screaming Cannon, which I've definitely been interested to try out over here. Dementia along with Cloak and Dagger could be quite interesting. We have the blueprint of the Tactician's infused tech suit. And then of course we're gonna get the Beetle. Purple Wasp. What? Never seen an ankle bracelet before. I know, clashes with the suit, doesn't it? Well, if you guys didn't think I would run the first chance I get, we wouldn't have this fashion crisis, so you're going to take it off, right? I mean, after all, you put a bomb in Sabretooth's head. No, well, it was worth a shot. Can't blame a girl for trying. So, it looks like I did wind up finishing the 2235 that I thought. It's one of the few seasons where I haven't had an attack like in the last 10-15 minutes. Really interesting thing I noted this season over here was that the majority of the end of PvP losses for me did not occur on Tuesday, which was the day that PvP ended. And that's an oddball day for PvP to end. Normally it's a Monday or, you know, a random day of the week depending on where it started, but this one was a Tuesday. But it does actually sync up with the last day of May, so maybe that's why they were doing it. I went negative 220 on Sunday rolling into Monday, but only negative 122 Monday rolling into Tuesday. One thing that I found a little disappointing is that my defense, which had done relatively well all season, just fell apart in last week. They just really weren't winning a whole lot of matches, especially the last 2 days, but progress back up was pretty easy. So my last day, I believe this was the first of the losses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I remember correctly, I think it was like 13. Yeah, I think it was overall like 13 matches in about 7 hours. But Monday was 14 or 15 matches in 8 hours. And I was pretty bad. You know, if you guys remember back a few seasons ago, maybe about a half a year ago, Playdon was like, yeah, we know. The last day thing is kind of trash. We're really sorry about that. We're going to work on that. And by the way, I'm going to do the free speed up this time because everybody jumps on my shit that I keep forgetting to do this. So there you go. There's the instant speed up. So let's take a look at the suit, take a look at the weapon. As always, make sure you come out of PvP to do that when you're looking at this stuff, otherwise you get the skewed stats. So, I mean, Playdom said, yeah, we're gonna limit the defenses and everything like that, and it won't be that bad. Honestly, I feel like this season, things have returned to a few years ago. I mean, Kingfisher mentioned it during his segment of From the Hellcarrier. I'm mentioning it. A lot of people awoke on Monday and Tuesday to literally be anti-Christmas. The Nintendo 64 kid has like horns and his eyes are red and he's throwing his sister into the fire and he's punching his parents. I mean, it was like fucking Black Christmas for everybody these last 2 days. People's negatives were atrocious. Even people who had relatively good defenses throughout the season were not happy. And when you see the massive negatives on Monday, you're like, oh god, you totally butt clench thinking about Tuesday. Because you're like, it's not even over yet. This isn't the last day. It's not going to end in 5, 6, 12 hours for me. It's still like 24 hours left. Surprisingly, my Tuesday was not quite as bad. You guys will need to weigh in on how your Tuesday was compared to your Monday, but I was at least pleasantly surprised it was nowhere near as bad. So let's take a look at that suit. Here it is in its olivey drab glory. Biohazard suit. Immune to harmful poison and bio effects. Reduces damage from bio attacks. System of a toxicity of a down. Aha. Debuff actions drain stamina from the target. Melee attacks gain envenomed. Take less damage from dots. So, alright, let's slap this thing on over here. Nice green glowy fist. Let's compare that to, say, the blaster one. So blaster's a little tighter to the glove. A little more vertical. Bruiser is kind of a star pattern, a starburst. I'd say that the green from this suit is a little bit more involved than any of the others. Very interesting. I like it. Seems they're doing a good job of setting up the poison on this, that's for sure. Alright, so we want to load up on debuffs over here. And let's see, we want melee. We want to test Thunderwatch. Oh yeah, that's okay. So melee attacks gain envenomed. Okay, so we definitely want some melee things here. We want some debuffs. We've got a lantern. A rectifier does a debuff. We'll keep that in. Let's get the Scroll of Runemeroth in here. That's weird. Usually, I thought that thing was on my second page. Where did you go, Black Scroll? There you are. Lightning Strike is not a debuff. Let's give it another melee. Okay. So this will be an interesting setup. Now, in order to test the poison immunity, one of the best things that I could think of in terms of application would be Kuurth. So let's get Kuurth in our friendly villain simulator. And let's see if we can bait her into attacking my agent. Where are you, Worthy? I know you're down at the bottom, aren't you? There's Nul. There you are. Okay. I should run a Blade of the Guardian and pull things to my agent. We'll leave it as this. We'll just see if we could get Kuurth to try and do a level 2 on my agent. This is one of the... When I first saw this suit, the only thing that I could think of was Kuurth level 2. That's where I thought this would be best suited. Haha, funny. Suited, get it. Oh, she just opened up with a Stonebreaker, and Black Knight is apparently doing a decent job. So as we get this set up over here, we do know that this season was just super bad with cheating. This is a topic a lot of people want to talk about. Well, I didn't see any drain of stamina there. It just was bad. So many people were seeing, still not seeing a drain in stamina. Alright, there's the fear me. We certainly expected that. So many people were seeing cheating all over the place on this one. Yeah, and Venom is there. It tags it right to the ability. And, I mean, we were just seeing people commenting on it at all levels. I've got a video in one of my Marvel Avengers Alliance groups where the #1 ranked player was fighting the #2 ranked player. And the dude was up there with like a quarter of his bonuses and everything simply because he was a cheater. And it's good and bad when cheaters run their way up the ladder. It's bad because of what they do to your defense. But by the same token, if you run into a cheater's defensive team, they're usually gigantic pushovers. So, there is that portion of it. But for the most part, I mean, Playdom really needs to fix what's going on with cheating. Everybody I've talked to has had it this season. And there are a lot of frustrated players. Wow, she's spamming Love Me Again? And on the same target? Very interesting. It's just not... It's not good. It does the game a huge disservice. Even if you could roll over their teams extremely easily, it's still not fair that you could lose hundreds on defense because people are running hacks and, you know, knife through your defense no matter how good it is. There are winnable scenarios, and one of the winnable scenarios is to run a high-powered offensive team that has a good chance of going first, like your Quicksilvers and your Spitfires. But even then, you still have to get lucky that they take out their main cheating character, which is typically Quicksilver. I've seen a video on the hack, and what the hack is it's a hex editor. Well, she's not doing her level 2. It is a hex editor that you basically like attack once with your main attacker, which is typically Quicksilver. And then you find out the memory address of the damage that he just did. And then you go into Chrome's memory and you adjust the value of that damage. So, if you made Quicksilver attack and he did about 500 damage to people, you look through your memory and you're like, oh, okay, I just need to find 500 damage, there it is, and people jack it up into the millions. And then they attack with Quicksilver again and wipe everybody out with the AoE. And why he's the cheater of choice is because of his high chance to go first. And by doing that, you're almost guaranteed that your big triple overkiller is in place and ready to go. One of the ways that I think Playdom can fix this is to, I mean, they have access to this data. They can see what people are doing, and really what they should be doing is going through and looking for instances where people are running Quicksilver on defense and having huge stretches of win. And look at their, I mean, the data's there. It's on the sheet. Overkills and triple overkills. Just hire any one of us from the community and we know these things. I mean, when you look at somebody's stats, it's so easy to kind of figure it out. So I'm just going to grab... Alright, let's say this guy, Jose Ramirez. He beat my defensive team. He's not a Spartan. I'm not going to say this guy's a cheater, but let's take a look at this as an example. Here's a good possibility. Kind of crappy bonuses. So, I mean, this is what I call the suddenly silver syndrome. Silver, 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 gold, Ada. This might actually be a cheater right here. Go down and look at the overkills and look at the triple overkills. Look for a Quicksilver. If those things line up, like a Quicksilver or a Spitfire, there you go. This definitely could be a cheater right here. I mean, this guy's bonuses are absolute trash compared to mine. And you don't go from silver and gold to suddenly Ada. It doesn't work. And here, perfect example. This is what I was attacked with. A constructive field and a bunch of the... It is really random that I picked this guy, but this is most likely a cheater. Quantum Entanglement. That's another one that the cheaters tend to run. It's a way of salvaging a bad situation that you can give yourself extra turns and just adjust the memory values of somebody else if your Quicksilver's killed. I mean, yeah, this is most likely a cheater. Gotta be honest, most likely a friggin' cheater. If we as people not having access to the background data can look at something like this and call this a cheater, absolutely somebody in Playdom can figure these things out. Definitely a cheater. Silver, 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 gold. Ada. No. Don't believe this for 1 second. And as a lot of people have pointed out, not to be ethnocentric or disparaging or racist or anything, a lot of the hacks tend to come from Brazil and a lot of the Southeast Asia countries. I mean, look at that. Let's look at my... I mean, this is somebody who's been doing it for a long time, but I bet you Quicksilver plus a lot of triple overkills plus suddenly not the rank you used to get. Definitely a friggin' cheater. I didn't even plan to look at that guy. I just picked out somebody at random on my list who might be a cheater. I think that guy was, honestly. And no, I'm not being salty because I have the highest rank I've ever had and I'm exactly where I wanted to be, so there's nothing to be salty about. Alright, let's take a look at Modern Beetle now. She is an infiltrator, who I believe is also going... She's an infiltact, if I remember correctly. Yes, Cunning Mind. So she's like Fandral, basically. Battle Prep. Chance to follow up on single target attacks. Chance to follow up on an ally single target attack. Counts as an infiltrator and a tactician. Chance to significantly reduce the damage of an attack. And she's a flyer. Incinerator Ray, neutralized, impaired, melt armor burning. Really nice. Ranged and energy. Some decent ISOs that you could put there. She could give herself a shield. If this is going to be her counter / follow-up, she can constantly shield herself. Really nice. Rapid shot, ranged and gun, one enemy. So this could be a trigger ISO. A trigger E ISO could work off of this. So you could hit somebody with rapid shot and then get the follow-up of Incinerator Ray if you go that way, which means 2 attacks for the price of 1 and constantly shielding yourself. Playbook. Quick action. All allies. All enemies get disadvantage. All allies get combat awareness. The next attack for her exploits opportunity. Could go well with Movie Suit Star-Lord, Wasp, Anti-Venom, Pym. All those guys. Disadvantage. Blue Marvel, Winter Soldier. And then Bertha. This is the one that we all hated to see when we actually fought Beetle. All enemies, massive 4-round cooldown. It starts cooldown. Catastrophic, combustible, deadly crits. I think a good setup is the playbook into Bertha once you know a bunch of opportunistic debuffs are out there. So, let's take her out into the field and test her out. I think the biggest thing that I can think of for her is going to be Spino. Spino Rocket would be good. So let us get Mademoiselle Beetle. And let us get Spider-Man Noir. And let's see. We want to do some follow-up-y stuff over here. I'm going to need to come off a full screen for that. Even in the Facebook arcade, you still can't do type searching on full screen. Good consistency there. Alright. You know, we'll leave the suit on for now. But let's get things like Cosmic Cardinal. We will do the Rapier. Could leave the Scroll of Runemeroth in there. Hammer pistol. Okay. Alright, let's take a look. She went fairly early, that's cool. Spider-Man Noir did absolutely nothing. I'm really sad by that. He had a perfect setup. Here we go. Wow. That was very interesting. I liked it. Alright. Nothing out of Beetle on that one. Follows up with a level 2. That's sad. I'm disappointed if it's the level 2. That means she can't shield herself, which is what I was hoping for. No, she follows up with something else called Careful Shot. She's like Iron Fist. So she's like Iron Fist with Combo Breaker or Kuurth following up with a Brawl. She uses a move not accessible in her moveset, which means you will never be able to ISO for it, unfortunately. Yeah, it's unless she inherits what's slotted into the level 2, I think she is not going to be able to get ISOs for her follow-ups. Which is really sad. I really like the ability of having her constantly refresh and a shield. Yeah, that's gonna be a little sad. I wonder if what she counts for in the Spec Ops. They probably haven't tagged her for having a side in the Spec Ops, is my guess. Alright, so let's see what she gets a bonus with. Really big on Ant-Man. Pretty big on Black Cat. Pretty big on Boomerang. Really big on Elsa. Wow, that is a 5-point bonus on Elsa. She gains distaff counterpart. I wonder what she's considered the female of. Ant-Man? I'm gonna have to look at her bio here. So, Elsa Bloodstone, good for score challenges there. Howard the Duck is pretty big. Iron Man, really big. She's got a cup. Misty Knight. 6 on Misty Knight. No, never mind. That's Moon Knight down there. So she has 3 5-pointers. That's really big. That's good. Shocker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a 6. Yeah, she's going to be big on score challenges. I mean, 6 points with Shocker. It's really nice. Wasp. Unfortunately fairly weak, but she does have something called Insectoids on Wasp. Janice Lincoln is the daughter of the superhuman mobster Tombstone. She idolized her father, but was encouraged by her father to pursue her safer life. She studied law, became a criminal defense lawyer. While settling a dispute between Zemo and Fixer, she volunteered to join them as supervillain. Janice was given the new suit of Beetle armor and a new persona to match. As a villain for hire, Janice thought to run her own group of supervillains, but was eventually captured and locked away in Rikers. Agent Coulson decided to give her another chance to work with S.H.I.E.L.D. Alright, well, we gotta take a look at that gun now. Let's see, what's the daily? You know, sometimes we get a daily that benefits the character that we just got, and this is one of the few times that it didn't. Alright, so let's take a look at the gun. And then maybe we'll wrap it up. Happily, I got the Dino Claw this morning or last night. Pretty happy about that one. Mangle, don't underestimate Mangle if we're going to be continuing to see Cloak and Dagger and everything. So, you know, and wrapping up the season, what did we see a lot of? Well, we still saw the Worthy, definitely. Kuurth, no. I think Angrir had a bit of a fall off, to be honest. I don't think he had the power position that he once did because of all the nerfs he took during the off season. I mean, the possession wasn't working too well. There's that old Phoenix, the Frozen Hell. By the way, if you have a Phoenix Pinion does happen to like poison, so that would go well with the new suit. Here it is. Screaming Cannon, all enemies. Dementia's not really going to work on robots, but it'll still be fun. Cloak and Dagger was everywhere. Cloak and Dagger with Kuurth, Cloak and Dagger Spitfire, no. Intangibility was everywhere, which really ruins the first turn for a lot of people. It means phased frequencies is going to be everywhere coming up. I mean, if you don't adapt and get yourself a lot of phase frequencies or mystical ISOs, that's something that you're going to need to look into. But I mean, Cloak and Dagger, especially Cloak and Dagger Ethereal, was definitely everywhere. Dementia, internal bleeding. So we're not really, it's a bad example of the gun. Kind of low damage. I feel like my agent follows up on Beetle so nicely. Wow. So the interesting thing is, if you run the new suit and you run melee counter weapons like the mandible or the rapier or the gauntlet caress, you're going to be causing free poison on all your follow-ups and everything because of the envenomed. So that's interesting. We really might see the tactician suit in the next PvP. Unfortunately, the E3 suits are enjoying a huge power spike right now. I mean, the ability to run like big and fast and Scudum, big fast Scudum, mystical, intangibility, back for more. The 3 ISO suits are just doing huge work right now. Wow, alright, so somebody's already got the suit and the cannon. Hercules and Heimdall. The reward is the T-Bolt glove, which I already have. Sure, why not? So, I mean, Cloak and Dagger was everywhere, and it was extremely tough to deal with. Dementia immune people or delirium immune people are probably going to be really good coming up against them. But Mangle, I think, is going to be pretty important, because then at least you can turn off like the level 2 and the level 6. So maybe getting the Dino Claw or other Mangle items would be a really smart thing to do. We will be able to see the cannon in action. Ah, there's the drained stamina. That's nice to see. So Hercules is protecting. Not really surprised there. So now Hercules is going to be poisoned because of that being a melee follow-up. Yep, envenomed. And honestly, you know, a reduction in attack, can't say that's bad, so... Oh! So her flanked is Incinerator Ray. Weird. She might have an odd setup. She followed up on a flanked target with Incinerator Ray, which means that would give her a shield. But she counters... Oh, scroll, really? That was annoying. Oh, we got some sky is falling already. That's pretty cool. I wonder if Heimdall's gonna go for my agent again. No, he's just gonna recharge. He's got a lot of debuffs on him, so let's see. We drain stamina again. Is it a chance? Because I didn't see any stamina go away from him on that one. Debuff actions drain stamina from the target. Maybe because of quick combat, it didn't go off, but let's see when Inevitable Doom does. There it goes, and that's a lot of stamina. That's a lot of stamina that comes off. Let's... Wow. I mean, looking at my Spider-Man Noir, if I was to think his capped out stamina would be maybe 6,300 and losing 2,400 out of that, that's pretty bad. Yeah, I think I've effectively locked Heimdall out. I'm gonna pass over here and see if he recharges again. He's dead. Wow, with the right suit set up, this new suit might be very, very strong. I can see Null teams being pretty bad next season. Null with a lot of debuff magics. Oh boy, really? The Molly Hayes kitty cat. Oh, thank you. So let's examine some of the stars of the season. The unexpected stars in terms of what we saw this season. Because this came out of left field, and I think as people saw it happening, they adjusted, and it worked out pretty well. The foreboding devices. These guys, I think people very, very slowly realized just how good they were. Now, clearly the best was the cognitive foreboding device. Chance to preemptively counter buff and debuffs. Why this was so strong is because unlike the Deb, it is not marred by having no subtle capabilities. So this thing can pop, subtle, stealthy, you name it. My offense relied on phylactering or chalicing one of my people and then suiciding into the biggest threat. The moment I put the chalice on somebody, I took a very high chance of getting popped by the cognitive foreboding device. If the agent is strong enough, it could hit me out of the suicide range. Now, a member of my streaming chat mentioned that he fought my defense towards the end of the season, and I did something like 20k to him off of this device, which is incredible. I think these devices paired up with something like the higher the stamina, the higher the damage ISO calculated, and maybe like grit, phased, hitting phased people and everything. I think this is an extremely deadly device. And, you know, the good thing is a lot of people are going to have this in the wild. It's a researchable from the Jthor Blue Marvel Spec Ops. So this is, all of these are going to be huge. Now, some people are running all three. It's viable. The fact that they can see stealth and subtle, pretty good. A lot of people towards the end were making mention that they were doing this with high-powered Spider-Man Noirs, rockets, Union Jacks, everything. These are initiators, just like the Gauntlet Caress, just like pre-counters, the Grace Note, the Rapier, all of that. These cause follow-ups and counters and everything, so that's something we have to deal with next season. People jacking up their armory on offense and running one, if not all three of these devices, and running like rockets, Spider-Man Noirs and everything. I can tell you during the last half-hour PvP, I ran into a Spider-Man Noir that was just about one-shotting my people because of the high armory bonus, and this was used to initiate the attacks. So, and remember, if people follow up with AoE like Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, Spider-Man Noir can hit each and every one of them. So we might really be in for a very interesting next season of PvP. I can predict Beetle getting used. I can predict this new suit being used to cause extra dots. And we might see people really adapting to these cognitive devices, or the foreboding devices. The big thing is what's going to come out to counter Cloak and Dagger. That is something that we really need to think about. Now, Beetle's not going to be that good against Cloak and Dagger. As a matter of fact, she would be awful. It's the exact right thing for Cloak and Dagger to enjoy. Alright, so her follow-up there was the hidden ability. But if somebody's flanked, she follows up with her level 1. Let's test that again. Ooh, okay, maybe not. It's not gonna happen. We're killing these guys too easily. But, I think one of the biggest things that may happen, I mean, when I had my Cloak and Dagger try to heal the team, the healing seemed to be average. When enemy Cloak and Daggers healed, I mean, it's like the match just reset. She is really weird. She just countered with Incinerator Ray. Very, very strange. It's going to be hard to figure her out, but I think maybe my plan of putting energy attacks equals shields on her level 1 might actually work. So this was something that was just brought up, the lunacy with this suit. Yeah, the lunacy would be disgusting with this suit. Because it already causes straining, and then it takes down... Yeah, wow. The lunacy is going to be really, really big with this suit. Beetle's fun. I'm enjoying Beetle, and she's just level 1 for me. She's doing a lot of damage. That's an almost 3k crit for somebody who's level 1. It really could be predicted that we're going to see a lot of meteor stack magical debuff teams coming out with this suit. Especially with magic warding not really stopping it. I could see lots of people running the magic ring or null and just trying to go heavy meteor stacks and magic and everything. The good thing is the suit reduces the damage of dots. Wow, this is an... I like this as a potential team right here. I did 2 actions and the whole first wave is wiped out. Bit of a stamina hog, though. I mean, she's out of stamina already, but then again, she is the only one who's actually acting, so... Yeah, I like Beetle. I like her already. I think she's going well with this setup. And hopefully I finally get to see her, what she does on flanked. I think on a flank target, she's going to go 1-1. Alright, let's pass the turn here. This guy is flanked, right? Alright, so it should be 1-1. 1-1. Okay. Yeah, so it's viable. She does some other things, but it is definitely viable. I think hair trigger is going to be great for her. And I think energy equals shield is going to be really, really nice for her. And so throughout the season, I definitely tried to get my bruisers up and running. And hopefully I get them complete by the next season. Then I'm going to complete the generalists and work on infiltrators. But I definitely see no reason why I would not power level Beetle to 15. She may count as an infiltrator, but I'm definitely getting this chick up to 15 ASAP. She's fun. Alright guys, so I am going to go ahead and wrap up this YouTube export now, the wrap up of PvP Season 30. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's anything I didn't cover in this video here on YouTube, or if there's anything that you want to talk about that you noticed on the season, aside from the cheating, which is really, really bad. But Playdom tweeted, they know about it, so we will, we'll see what happens. See you folks, hope you enjoyed the video.